Today we have with us Mr. Dan from University of East London. Mr. Daniel is Head of International at University of East London, and University of East London is a public university which is located in London and has over 3 campuses in London. And currently it has more than 17,000 students from 135 countries. So University of East London is truly a international university and mainly focuses on career-led courses. So University of East London, all the courses are focused on your career to get you employment. That is the main aim of University of East London. So friends, we have an opportunity to speak to Mr. Daniel, who is the best possible man with us, who can answer all about September intake and UK education, and especially about University of East London. So please start dropping your questions on chat box and we'll answer them later. So welcome, Dan. Please tell us about the September intake and what are the plans of University of East London in upcoming intakes and in future.
Can I first of all say thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this event today. I'm genuinely very excited about this. So yeah, thank you very much for the kind invitation and for everybody who's taken time to join us and listen to what we have to say about the University of East London. I think the first thing we need to look at is what is happening with the University of East London. How will we be delivering our degree programs this September? First of all, the UK is open for business. We are open to welcoming international students from all parts of the world. And we really are looking forward to students arriving on our campus this September and being part of our campus community. I think all universities, and we especially at the University of East London, put a great emphasis on the contribution that students make, both at undergraduate and postgraduate degree level. Not just to the lecture theatres, the classrooms, but the ideas, the club societies that they join and they begin with us on campus, but also what people bring to the wider London community. International students are an essential part of our success as a higher education institution in the UK. So we plan to deliver our programs in a really unique way. And I think one thing we can all agree is that the way we interact and communicate with people has evolved incredibly quickly over the last few months in the way that we engage with people on interactive platforms that we know have already been there for maybe some time, but have we actually used them to their full capabilities? I think that's always been a big question mark. So the university is going to be combining the best of digital platforms and new ways of teaching in that innovative online space by delivering a genuinely virtual learning environment and combining that with the best of traditional learning techniques, face-to-face, on-campus interaction between academics and our campus community. We've invested over £5 million in developing this new system that we call dual delivery. And we believe it's going to be the future of higher education teaching, but the future of higher education teaching now. So we're really excited about this development. It does bring out the best of both worlds. And we are really looking forward to our students joining us in September and taking advantage of this really fantastic and innovative new way of learning.
Right. So that's very exciting news, especially about this new development of online platforms and dual learning. So can you explain more about this dual learning which you're introducing for September intake?
Yeah, so what it is, it's so the students will have a lot of flexibility in terms of where they study. So if they wish to attend their lectures, they can attend their lectures at any point. They can join them live. They can catch up with them later. They can then have their study groups will be available on campus. So they'll go in the small groups and have that one-to-one interaction that they like to have with academics, but also with their peers. So it gives them a level of flexibility, but it also allows them to take the best of, what is it when you're in a lecture theatre? How many students genuinely engage in a lecture theatre? How many of those students feel that they are perhaps a little bit overwhelmed by the environment that they're in? If you are engaging with that lecture and you're engaging in the virtual space, you're probably more able to interact with other students, go into different breakout groups and discuss the topics that are being presented by the lecturer at that given time. And I think it emboldens people, we find, because they're not having to put their hand up and speak, in that public area. People are far more comfortable speaking in a digital platform. So that's just one of the benefits of attending a lecture online. But what we also want to make sure people is that you will have a UK study experience. You will be part of a physical campus community. You will still be able to go onto campus to use the library, the sports facilities, which are all opening again next week. You'll still be part of these small study groups with genuine interaction with students. So it is a new way of teaching, but it's a new way of teaching that marries the best of tradition with the future of learning. And that's where we are. And I think often in times of really challenging times, great opportunities arrive. And that's because you have to evolve, you have to think differently. And that generally gives everybody a way of moving into the future in a far better and far more constructive way. And this is where we find ourselves. And I think dual learning is the future of teaching.
This is when I heard about dual learning, this was the most exciting news we got after Corona. Like, this is instead help students more than the previous traditional learning. So they will get the in-classroom experience for seminars, as well as they can experience whole of the UK culture along with the facilities of university, and yet perform their education online as well. Because as you can see, we are discussing everything online. So these things will benefit them in their employment and all those things as well.
Absolutely. This is, so when you're networking, we know we work together. So we work together. Here I am sat in Fulham, there you are in India, and here we are having a conversation with potentially thousands of students from different states in India, all wanting to talk about the same subject area. And look at the quality of the digital platforms that we can access in 2020. And why are we not using these more creatively within education, whether it's further education or higher education? This is the future. And most of our young students that we engage with, how do they engage with people on a daily basis? They engage using digital space. Now, what we don't want to do is be seen as a provider of online tuition. We're not delivering an online degree program. This is dual delivery, and it's marrying the best of traditional teaching, but also then enhancing that by engaging with digital platforms. Now, I think at the moment there seems to be some kind of lag. So look, I'm also going to talk a bit more about the advantages of coming to study in the UK this September. So as you all know, London is one of the most dynamic and diverse cities, certainly not just in Europe, but probably anywhere in the world. And when students come to join us, they join this very dynamic and very culturally diverse community. London is one of the biggest business centres in the world, whether it's for finance, whether it's for tech startups. It is a really, really thriving city on the global business stage. So when students come to join us, not only do they get the best of the higher education system that we offer, which is recognised as being one of the best in the world, but they also join this really thriving business community. And that's a really exciting opportunity to network with students from all over the world. So if students are thinking, right, okay, I need to get my education, I need to get an internationally recognized qualification, we can provide you with that. We also then have a range of programs that are going to offer you a 1-year work experience opportunity with a tech startup, say in the subject area of computer science, perhaps with one of the big business corporations that have set up in Canary Wharf. There's so many exciting opportunities for you to put into practice the theory that you have learned during your 1-year master's program or your 3-year undergraduate degree. Now, the other benefit of coming to join us in September is the return of the graduate route, or most commonly known, the post-study work visa. So this is a really, really exciting opportunity. This gives you, if you're a master's student, that 1-year master's program, intensive program, giving you all the skills that you need to go on and progress in the profession of your choice. But then you also get that 1-year working experience, which we will help you to provide. We'll give you all of the soft skills that you need to go on and find a successful work placement, so that when you do enter into that 2-year post-study work visa, you're not just getting an entry-level job. We are giving you the right environment to get the work experience, to put into practice the theory that you've learned, do some networking in the industry or sector of your choice, and then apply for a meaningful job that is going to allow you, when you return to India, to go on and do something really exciting with your career.
Right, and especially these 3 years of working in UK, that will enhance your chances of getting a really good job in India, or you can continue your job in UK by getting work permits and things like that.
Absolutely, and I think given this time, if you look at the time we're in, there's going to be some probably challenging years in terms of the economy, and there's going to be probably a shake-up of, you know, what industries survive and what industries do not survive. And what is going to be really important for graduates, whether they're graduates from UEL or any other university, whether it's the UK, US, or Canada, is that they are prepared for the next industrial revolution, which is Industry 4.0, which is all about cloud computing, about robotics, artificial intelligence, etc. So I don't think there's ever been a more important time when a student makes a decision as to which university they go to. It should be, I think, careers focused. Think about future-proofing your skill set, getting yourself the right experience, associating yourself with really leading industry partners. So some of our key partnerships, Microsoft, Siemens, Amazon, really big multinational employers, that all of them, if you look at their success over the last few months, has not just increased, it has rocketed. I mean, Amazon and its profits have gone through the roof. And we are Amazon's only global university partner. So we will associate you with brands. We will give you industry relevant experience and knowledge. We'll give you that 1 year and help you get that 1 year of experience. And then that will put you in a fantastic place to go on and make the most of your 2 years working in the UK. So this is why, as a industry focused, industry learning focused university, we like to position ourselves as the #1 industry focused learning university in the UK. This is a great opportunity to come and study at University of East London.
So how do you connect the students with all these industries like Amazon and Microsoft? Like, what is your role in students getting that opportunity of working for Amazon?
Well, let's look at Amazon an example. So we signed an agreement with Amazon in 2019. Amazon are just in the process of building what we call the Amazon Loft on our Docklands campus. And this is going to be a center that will allow students to access the Amazon cloud computing system. And we will have what we call the careers passport. So this is where students will go and they will engage with Amazon. There'll be lots of different speakers that come to speak at the university to represent Amazon, its technological advances, whether that's in cloud computing, retail infrastructures, whether that's even probably to come and talk about their space program. I mean, Amazon really are involved in a lot of different, really exciting cutting edge industries. And the students will be able to input their academic profiles, their qualifications, experience, etc., into the cloud using the careers passport. And this will be shared with all of our other industry partners. So again, at the moment, Microsoft, Siemens, Amazon, and we have more that are in the pipeline to be joined with us. And that then allows students to engage with employers, not just in the UK, but wherever they are in the world. And we know in India, there are huge employment opportunities with all of those organizations. So it expands your profile within the UK, but across multinational corporations, wherever they are in the world. And this is what is very exciting about UEL and how we are actually using our industry partners, not just to stand next to them and say, you know, we have consultation with Microsoft or with Amazon. We are actually going to be working with them in a really new, really dynamic way that helps promote our graduates into the workplace.
Again, the new digital platform, which is not asking to for placements from campus. So the companies don't have to come on campus and do 5-10 placements. Rather, there's a worldwide opportunity for UEL students. So again,
it's all in the cloud, all in the
digital,
yeah, it's a genuinely exciting way of looking at, right, how do we promote our young graduates to employers around the world, you know, and that's really what we're trying to do. And that's part of the exciting kind of rebirth of UEL that took place, has begun under the leadership of our new Vice Chancellor, Amanda Broderick. She's a real visionary in terms of, how do we make our students these standout young graduates when they're applying for jobs in that really ultra competitive marketplace. And that's her mission statement, and that's what we're all here to deliver.
So this is to all the friends who are watching us now. Things are getting changed. Things are changing fast. Everything is going digital. Things are moving really fast. So is UEL. So is Meridian. And you have to come along. I'll ask another question to Dan, and then we'll take the audience questions, right?
Yeah, fine.
So this is the question which I always get from students. What is the use of Freshers Week? And after COVID-19, what are your plans for first 1 week of introduction, which is very essential for all the students who are especially coming from India?
It will be the same model as dual delivery. Aspects of induction will be on campus. Aspects of induction will be in the digital space. So students are fully aware of the capabilities of the platform that we expect them to engage with. I think some of the developments that we've put together if I just talk about one in specific, and this is for MBA students and students coming to study, let's say, computer science. And we call this the Kickstarter program. And this is a program that really helps students make that step from either high school here over in India or university over in India, and how do they then get the most out of the support services, contact with academics, library facilities, etc. once they arrive in the UK. And it's a really exciting program, and it marries together, different modules around referencing, about research, project work, etc., with subject-specific induction modules. But then running alongside this, we're going to have a really exciting competition that will be subject-specific. So the MBA school, for example, will work on a business project, and they'll be put into groups. They'll be mentored by one of the academics, so they're able to form that really personable, friendly working relationship with their academic tutors, helps them to build that bond with the school, that a pride in the school, and they will work over a 2-week period on this project. At the end, all of the different groups will go and they'll present, this is our business idea, this is our business model, this is the profits we forecast, etc. Whichever group wins, and this is, I think, a really nice part to have a little bit of competition amongst future business moguls, is that they will go on and represent the university in a national competition, which again, they will represent UEL against all other universities, pit their wits, their business acumen, and they'll do that with mentoring from one of our industry partners. So somebody who's a leading businessman from London will help, or businesswoman, and help support this group as they enter into the national competition. So that's just one of the ways that I think we're looking at, again, how do we have that thread of future employability, networking, raising profiles of our students, raising the profile and quality of our MBA programs or computer science degrees, amongst other universities, and so that when those students leave, that's another addition to their CV, which is going to really help them stand out. So yeah, we've thought about the changes. There will be changes, but we're actually enhancing. We're using this again as an opportunity to evolve what we do. How do we get our students more involved with the academics? How do they have a greater pride of being part of the school? How do they then go on and represent the university amongst other universities, increasing their networking potential? So again, it's about looking at the challenges and in a very difficult situation and turning those into really exciting opportunities for our students.
Right. And this competition and this thing will start at initial stage of MBA, right? In the beginning.
Yeah. So it's all the students will be part of it, and all of the home domestic students will be part of it. So it's a really nice way for everybody to integrate, mix, start to build new friendships, that will last not just from the time you're at the university. As you will know, being a graduate from Oxford Brookes, these friendships stay with you for life. The universities should be the best days of your life. So the faster we can integrate everybody.
This is what I was discussing about in my previous video, like how important it is for international students to reach in UK within the time. So university provides extension for visas and all these things. Like students can come up to October, but the thing they must understand is reaching before Freshers Week is as important as your degree. So those 2 weeks will make you friends. Those 2 weeks will uh, give you the confidence of staying within the UK, and you can complete all your essential tasks like getting NI number, bank accounts, and things like that. So Freshers
Absolutely.
Week is very, very important, and all students must attend that.
Yeah, I would say it's such an important time, and I think, you know, as you know, we've both spent time at universities. You know, we both know the experience. The key to it is understanding that everybody who is there is in the same situation as you. Many have come from different parts of the world or different parts of the UK. Everybody wants to make friends.
Yeah,
Everyone wants to get the best possible education, but everyone wants to have a good time while they do it. So just throw yourself into it. You know, if you want to know more about a club or society, go and join that club or society. If you want to go and speak to a group, go and speak to that group of people. Just, you know, and make the most of the time that you have, because education, especially a study abroad experience, yes, you want the best qualification. Yes, you want to be, but you also want that genuine cultural immersion. You know, you want to know more about a new culture. You know, you want to get the most out of that. You want to change your way of thinking in many ways. And that's all part of studying abroad. And you can only do that by embracing the situation, embracing the people around you, and making the most out of the, not just the academic opportunities we give, but embracing the support services. You know, make sure you use them. If something's there, go and use it. Get the most out of it. You know, kind of prepare yourself, not just academically, but also in terms of what soft skills you need to go out and be a success in the world. If the service is there, I encourage everyone, just go and use it.
true. So yeah, this is again the same thing. You must attend the Freshers Week,
Hmm.
because this is where you get friends. This is where you get started. If you miss that, your whole 1 year will be very problematic, because you won't be understanding the library use. Again, as I was discussing with you, the referencing system, the education system, the friends you won't be getting, and you will be lonely if you miss your Freshers Week.
Yeah.
So these were my questions, and if I can, yeah. So this is it. Should we go with the students who are asking so
Yeah,
many
please
questions?
do. Yeah.
So we have got a lot of questions. So let's start with Rakib Khan. He's saying, I have completed my graduation with subjects physics, chemistry, and mathematics. Can I take admission in MSc Data Science? So again, he wants to go for data science. And what options does UEL have in terms of data science or similar courses, and the future of it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say with data science, we do have big data. We have data science available. I think with that particular background, undergraduate degree, a master's program would be great for him. I think with anything, especially something like data science, it is really genuinely future proofing yourself for the future, because everybody wants to know how to use data. I mean, data is described as being the new oil. It is so important for industries, whether, you know, tech industries, universities. We're all very heavily data dependent now. It is something that I think is for any young graduate, it's a really exciting specialization in the area of computer science to engage with, whether that's fintech, big data. You know, it's genuinely, I think, an exciting option. So I would imagine with those grades, but without having seen the transcript, they have the background subject area that would probably allow them access to that particular program. And we are, if you look at our school as well of architecture, computing and engineering, ACE, we are particularly strong with computer science subjects. We have been ranked for many years in a row now, #1 in terms of student satisfaction. So how satisfied are students with the teaching, the facilities that they have access to. So UEL is a very strong option for them. You then also look at, you know, the partnership that we've developed with Amazon and what that potentially can mean, you know, whether that is through their 2-year post-study work visa or, you know, placement year that they may wish to take. It's an exciting option. And another thing, and we talk about this quite regularly, is that we see the future of London is moving east. And a really good example of that, especially for those interested in either finance or fintech or computer science, one of the biggest tech startup parks anywhere in Europe is based on the University of East London's doorstep. And its original game is to attract tech startups from anywhere in Asia to come and set up their European physical entities kind of in London. And it's one of the fastest growing tech startup areas. It has special government tax breaks, etc., for companies to set up there. So just on our doorstep, and because of the relationships that we have in terms of advising the Docklands in terms of their redevelopment, we are able to, again, make good introductions for students who want to get some work experience, perhaps go on and apply for jobs within the tech industry as a whole. So again, marrying that quality education along with future industry options in terms of how students develop their career and move on in their own personal professional development once they leave us.
It's truly career-led university, especially the thing which you have said that East is new tech hub. I have witnessed that the development in East of London is, especially in last 10 years, it's been impressive. And
yeah, and it is very much just the start.
I would also like to stress you on Canary Wharf, like how it is business hub and what are the benefits of living near Canary Wharf, because that's not a lot of Indian students know about.
Well, Canary Wharf was set up in the late 80s to be the financial rival to New York. And depending who you talk to, it is either the #1 financial center, or if you're at the other side of the Atlantic, you'd probably suggest that New York is. But it is very much the financial center for Europe, if not greater swathes of the world. Most of the big financial companies, banking organizations, accountants, etc., have their European headquarters based in Canary Wharf. And again, where are we? We are based in the Royal Docklands, which is, an extension of Canary Wharf, which I can literally see from my office. So just being in that vicinity, and again, being an advisor to the government on the development of the historical Docklands area, means that we are very much in contact with all of the major business entities, whether it's in the digital space, whether it is in the financial space, and most of you, if you're aware of technologies, that London is one of the centres, global centres for fintech, because of its association with the financing industry, global financing industry. So again, London is a fascinating city, and I think people refer to it as being, for those interested in fashion, it's the global fashion capital. It's one of the fintech centers in the world. It's a financial capital. It's a global business capital. So in these times where, again, we have challenging times, what are the most resilient cities? The big global players, and that's exactly what London is. And there are so many exciting opportunities, and there will be further opportunities that arise from the shake-up in the global economy and what that means to students.
Right. So London is financial capital of the world, and then Canary Wharf is financial capital of London.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, that's very exciting, especially for all the students who are looking for jobs. So you can see that you can compare it with Mumbai of India. Like, you get a lot of opportunities to get jobs, especially in Canary Wharf, and UEL is just, I think, 100 meters away from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And London is it's the startup capital of Europe, and it's one of the biggest investors, where foreign investors invest a lot of money into startup companies based in London. So again, for those young entrepreneurs that really want to go out and not just join a corporation, but start a corporation, you're going to meet lots of other people who have come to London for that same purpose. They realize what a centre it is for startups, whether it's in the tech industry, business, whatever industry it may be. And there's good financing for that. It's a great opportunity to network. It's genuinely, I mean, for those that have spent time in London, it's a genuinely exciting city to be in. And I think whatever your interests may be, whatever your profession or future profession may be, London is one of those few cities around the world where you're going to meet other people that have that very focused, same outlook as you, that you are going to be able to network with and maybe do exciting things together in the future in terms of, developing new businesses, thinking of new ideas around, kind of digital platforms, etc. It's a genuinely creative city, and it's an exciting city.
True. So let's get specific with the UEL and intakes. So we're getting so many questions from students who are asking, they have taken admission in UEL for April intake. They got the visa, is now expired, especially the sticker visa is now expired. What options do they have?
Well, they have until, and we have sent a number of communications out to these students. So I would advise them just to go back into their inbox, maybe into their spam folder, and just have a look for the instructions that we've given. And what you can do now is you have until December the 31st to go online and put in your new course start dates online, and you will be issued with a new travel vignette. So that's the sticker that has currently expired, and that will give that will include your new course start date. And the other thing that is really good for these students, you will have 90 days to travel, not the 30 days you were originally given. So this is about this is about just following the instructions that we've given, or even contacting one of our in-market recruitment team who will be able to guide these students step by step what to do. But the changes of no additional cost to the student. You do not have to submit any new paperwork around finances or TB certificates, IELTS, etc. You just have to put your new data in online, and you'll receive the new travel vignette. And I'd like to point out, because it took a lot of lobbying from especially my colleagues on the University Executive Board with different organisations in the UK to get this concession arranged, because originally the feedback from the Home Office was students will need to apply for a new visa, and we worked very, very hard to get this concession, which again is of no cost to the student. If you have your visa from for April or May intake, you can use that for September. So I'd like to assure everybody of that point.
Your efforts are very much helpful for students. They must appreciate that.
And I would also just like to extend my thanks and appreciation to the students for being patient with us, for actually finding this solution for them, but also for their patience and understanding as to why we had to ask them to defer from April over to September. So I'd like to thank them as well.
True. So now, again, related question, most trending question on our chat today. When will you start issuing the cash letters for September intake?
So now we know that I think the 6th of July, the visa centres began to reopen in India. So we couldn't issue any CAS before that date, but we hope to be able to start issuing CAS. We've put forward the proposal to the University's Executive Board, and we should be starting to issue CAS by the end of next week. Now, what that means for the students is, I'd just like to offer some guidance on this, is that you will be able to make your appointments online. So if we issue your CAS and you're ready to be issued your CAS, that means we've checked your TB certificates, we've checked your IELTS if you've submitted an IELTS, and we've also checked your proof of maintenance funds. Now, it's very important that you submit your electronic appointment requests as soon as possible. So just go online, fill out the form, and then wait for the UKVI to contact you. Because as long as all of your documents were put in for the appointment are not expired, it doesn't matter if let's say the interview is a little bit longer in coming back than you would normally experience because of the situation, but it means that you will be issued a visa because you've submitted the documents when they were all relevant. So the key to it is, as soon as we issue the CAS, don't delay, don't wait, just make that appointment online and then wait for the UKVI to get back to you. And that means that all of your documents will stay acceptable and they will not have expired. If you wait and they expire, you might have problems.
Right. So to students, whoever has got offer letter and has made that initial deposit and cleared their pre-CAS interview, it's time for you to prepare for visa, and you do it fast so things get smoothly done and you don't miss your freshers week as well.
Okay. Absolutely, yeah. That's absolutely the way to look at it.
So another question is post-study work permit confirmed or not?
So, yes, it is. Yeah, if you go onto the UK Gov website, there is clear indication that any student who graduates from the university after May 2021 will be the first wave of students eligible for the postgraduate route. So yes, it is confirmed.
Right. I can see Pavel is also answering a lot of questions. He is trying. So thank you, Pavel, for doing that. I really
Yeah.
appreciate that. So
But yeah,
another,
I think it is an amazing reintroduction. I think it's a very attractive proposition in terms of, if you look at what did we have prior to 2012, this was a 1-year visa, which is good, but not great. But I think the 2-year proposal, it's very attractive for students. It really gives them more time to immerse themselves in terms of getting that work experience that they need, getting that industry experience, networking, etc. 2-year period is a really good proposal. Obviously, we would like it to be longer. Let's see where we go. But I think 2 years as a start is really positive.
right. We're getting another question like, how long do you think admissions are open for September intake? So,
Well, we're happy. Look, if you're, I would, with anything, it's like we were saying before, arrive on campus early. If you want to go to the cricket match and get the best seat in the stadium, arrive early. If you want to go to the football match, the same, arrive early. If you really want to apply for the program, get your qualifications together, get your supporting documents, fill out the application with our colleagues at Meridean, send that in, and we will process your application. If we get past the deadlines, which we are looking to extend, and we're in communication about this now, but you send an application that is complete, and we think this student can move to unconditional offer straight away, then we will still get you through. There's always a level of flexibility. But as with anything, to get the most out of a situation, to get the place on the course that you really want, apply as early as you can.
right. So the key is start your application as soon as possible. If you need any information, just send an email to application01@meridian.org and we'll help you with all your queries. Another question we are getting is, what are the placement chances, or what is the percentage of getting placement after finishing a degree in UEL?
Well, there's every chance, and it's the same as anything. And like we were talking about before,
Right.
use the services, embrace the situation. Don't just go into a class and attend. Go in and really, really engage in the class. The more you take from the services we provide, whether it's academic or supporting services, the better prepared you are for that placement year. You will find a placement. Again, we've talked about the different challenges around the global economy, but if there is one city in the world where you will not worry about finding a placement of some shape or form, it's going to be London. If you're outside of London, could be more challenging, but London is a global business center, and new opportunities and new industries will rise. Others will change, but London is a place where you will find a relevant working opportunity. So again, take as much as you can, engage with the academics. Learn from them. They're there to share experiences, and they're there to share knowledge with you and skills that you will really need to be prepared. But also, if there is a module and it's about CV writing, or it's about how do you present yourself during an interview, go and again, don't just turn up for that module. Go and really engage with that module. Learn as much as you can about what you need to do to be able to really effectively present yourself to a future employee. If there's an industry fair, so we have, in the same way that I used to attend education fairs where we would meet students and we'd have our tables and we'd talk to students face to face, we will have events that are similar in terms of their format, but it will be industry partners. Go and attend those events, engage with these people, showcase your skills, show what you've learned, what could you bring to their organization? And that again is all about raising your profile. So get involved with clubs, get involved with societies, just be active in the lecture theatre, be active in the classroom, be active in clubs and societies, be active on campus. And that gives you the best possible opportunity, not just to get a placement, but get a very, very good placement. And that will change your life. That will change the way that you are able to engage with future potential employers, give you the confidence that you need to even go and start your own business. But just engage, all about engagement.
So friends, it's more up to you to get the placement, because university is helping you in all the areas possible. Especially you have heard that how Amazon is have done a contract with university, and how Amazon will prefer the students from UEL. It's situated in London, so a lot of chances of getting employment. Now, the another question we are getting then is I can see a lot of news about it as well. We have heard that 13 of the UK universities are going bankrupt. So, any comments on that, and are
Do you
UEL's
know,
on that?
I don't have any. I think, look, we don't know. There was a report that was written that said that up to 13 UK universities were potentially under threat. If you look at those universities that are probably under threat, they are those universities that do not have their own assets, are probably small franchise colleges, universities. But if you look, we are not one of those universities. I think that's what we're
There are a
trying
lot
to
of
say.
students are getting worried about.
Yeah, we literally we are sat on some of the most prime real estate anywhere in London in terms of the Docklands areas that we occupy, and that's an expansive piece of land. We also did some refinancing quite recently that raised over £100 million for the university. So I would like to say that we are in a very strong and secure situation. Could I speak on behalf of other universities? Unfortunately, I cannot, because I don't know about their situation. But I would really, really like to assure students that are thinking about joining us, the University of East London is not one of those universities that are possibly under threat.
Because this brings concern in a student's mind that if universities in UK are going bankrupt, so they kind of take a back step. But I don't think that is because of any issue. Like there must be other issues with those universities going bankrupt, and it's not even yet confirmed that they are going bankrupt.
It all depends on a particular university's business model and what have they maybe overly depended on rather than having a more balanced business model. But it's difficult to speak for any other institution. And I think if you actually look at the purpose of that report, the purpose of the report was to look at recommendations for the government to help with the higher education sector and the consequences of letting 10 institutions go bankrupt, or the benefits of injecting what is a relatively small amount of money, if you look at the other bailouts that have been proposed by the government, and what that does to protect the sector, but the jobs around it, what that means for the students who actually study from those institutions, but also what they bring to the local communities where they study. So it was more of I think the headline was 10 universities or 13 universities to go bankrupt, but it was more a recommendation of what the government needs to do to make sure that that doesn't happen.
So in those articles, it was clearly mentioned that government must act and save those, but somehow the content was not encouraging for universities.
So, I think to put this into context, I think what they were looking at was a bailout of £130 million, which I acknowledge that is a lot of money. But then if you look at what they have done to encourage people to actually go out and, let's say, go to a fast food restaurant like Nando's, they've just put aside £3 billion to help those. So it's more of I think it was a provocative report, but it was one that was meant to make the government think, how do we safeguard the education sector in the UK?
Right. So I'm getting a lot of questions which are very technical in terms of they are mentioning about percentage and what course they can do. So for example, Reet Preet is asking questions about that she has completed BTech and got 72%. So I suggest all of you students, especially Reet, Upender, and Praveen, Rajni, all of you guys send your documents and send your queries on application01@meridian.org. Our counselors will look into your documents. They will check your documents. If you are eligible, we'll process your application to UEL. So this is not the platform where we can discuss about your individual application. What we can discuss about here is what is the UK education system. If you have questions regarding education system, about university, about your career, we can answer here. But if you want to check your eligibility for admission, you can directly email us to application01@meridian.org. So again, we got a relevant question from Ravindra Kumar. He's asking, can you explain a bit more about blended learning system?
So like the blended learning system.
Travel to UK or not? So this is the.
Oh no, The whole idea, and this is not just for UEL, but this is a government directive for all universities in the UK, is that we will be delivering face-to-face teaching from September 2020. If you look at, and again, I like to use this as an example, if you look at where the UK was 3 weeks ago compared to where the UK is today, it couldn't be any different in terms of how many different aspects of the economy have opened up, returning to a new normality. Because the key is the COVID situation will never probably go away, as with most similar related illnesses. But it's how do we live with it, and how do we live with it sensibly until we get the vaccinations that we all need. And that is where the UK economy is working. So this is not about, and I really need to stress this is not about the university delivering an online degree program or an online MBA program. That is not where we specialize. We are going to be providing a truly on-campus and virtual learning experience. And it is looking at probably where the future of the education sector was heading anyway. And it's probably something that has been talked about for a very long time, kind of how do we change the learning experience to incorporate the technologies that everybody uses on a day-to-day basis. And this is really just an advancement or an evolution in teaching that has probably been needed for quite a long time. So we would like to assure the students, if you arrive, you will have the best of both worlds. You will have that on-campus physical learning experience, but you'll also be combining that. And I think there's many ways to look. Just one example I'll give you with that best of digital learning or digital space. So if you think, as many of our students, when they come, they want to study, but they also probably need to work part-time while they study. And probably they have to then look at how do they fit that around the kind of weekly learning pattern and what their commitments are. With the digital learning and dual learning, that means that you can study through some of your lectures at a time that is probably more convenient to allow you to get that better balance of the two options, and then be on campus when you need to be on campus to do the things that you want to do on campus. Because I think maybe there is a lot of romanticism of what it is to sit in a lecture theatre with 300 other students trying to listen to the lecturer and be able to engage with the lecturer. That probably is just that, it's romanticism. So if we can improve that learning experience and do that in a digital space, but then give you all of that face-to-face support that you need, and that cultural experience by being on campus in a different country and all of the benefits that gives you, then that's what we're going to do. And that's what we've invested a significant amount of money in so that we can deliver it, and deliver it, not just deliver it, but deliver it to its full capabilities. And that's what we plan to do.
Well, honestly, I would prefer this blended learning rather than traditional if I would have given a choice. So thanks to COVID, in these terms, that we are trying to create something new, which is much more useful and much more handy in terms of...
Exactly. I mean, what do most students do when they go to a lecture theatre? They will put a dictaphone at the front so they can record the lecture and then go back and listen to it at a different time. So, what we're going to be doing, so if you look at how the lecture will be delivered, there'll be a lecture, there'll be some links that the students can look for kind of pre-learning. So look at some of the ideas in more detail that are going to be shared during the lecture. They then can engage with the lecture live, or they can watch it later. But then we will have digital spaces that will be breakout groups, where there'll be different forums where students are going to be able to either talk again in real time, or actually post items and then look for feedback so they can engage together on the ideas that have been shared. It is genuinely very exciting, I think. And again, I keep saying this, but it's a much needed development for higher education, much needed. And I think students will really appreciate it.
Yes, I believe so as well. I'm getting a really good question. I'm not sure where it has gone. Yeah. So Ryan Matthew, that is really interesting question, Ryan. Is there any chance in future that visa on online classes, so for example, rather than blended, we go online classes, will be rejected like United States right now? So you have seen the decision from Trump that go back if you study online.
No, we do. I think there's a very different administration in power in the US at the moment. And I think this is more of a political tool rather than a strategic tool in terms of advancing American higher education, which is, you know, a fantastic education system. We do not see that. And I think it's not me, we do not see that. If you look at the flexibility that the UKVI has implemented, which is normally seen, I mean, if I normally talk about the UKVI, it's more, the UKVI. But if I look what they've done over the last few months, they've been amazing. So they've allowed students to use a visa vignette that has expired, and they can use that in September. They've put in flexibility, so anyone can start a program with their current visa from September, and they will have until the I think it's April 2021 to actually physically transition into campus. So let's say they can't travel, they can still do part of their program online, and then arrive up until April 2021. And still be able to join their program and physically be taught on campus. So there's lots of flexibility. And I think this particular government, whether you believe in their political persuasion or not, they do really value higher education and international students. And that's why you see all of this flexibility. So clearly, I don't have a crystal ball, but I think if we look at what has happened and the flexibility that UKVI have brought into their decision-making process and their general processes all around, no, I do not see that happening.
So if I can add on that, the government has changed last year, right? And since Boris Johnson came into power, Matthew, I can say that things have changed rapidly in terms of getting PSW done. So they promised that they will start post-study work permit. They have done that. They promised that they will do the Brexit. They have done that, and they are now going to introduce point-based immigration system. So by looking at all those things, you can see how friendly the current government in Britain is immigration friendly. So they love immigrants. They are most welcoming government, and they want to make global UK where everyone is part of the UK. If I'm right, then your comments on that, please.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you look at so Joe Johnson, who is Boris Johnson's brother, he was the Minister for Universities, and it was his initial proposal to actually bring back the graduate route or the post-study work visa. And one of the first co-signers of that proposition was Boris Johnson, who then went on to be the Prime Minister later in that year. So yeah, I think it's understanding the value. If the UK is serious about Brexit and it wants to actually use its power, its genuine assets in terms of maintaining, a global presence, higher education is one of those. We have over 450,000 international students come and study in the UK every year. They come from all different parts of the world, and a significant number of those come to study with us from India. This generates £32 billion for the UK economy every year at a cost of probably around £3 billion. So you can understand the benefits of that for the UK. And it should be therefore something that we are very proud of and something that we make easily accessible to students who want to come and take advantage of the fantastic higher education system that we have here in the UK. So yeah, this is a government that understands that it is moving into a new world. It is moving out of its comfort zone of being part of the EU, and it wants to build firmer links with other countries from outside of the European economic zone. And India is one of those countries. And I'm sure that this new relationship we have, the accessibility of working visas, that's all going to help when they actually go on and develop a future trading agreement. So yeah, it's a great time. It's a really exciting time to come to the UK because they are looking to position the UK as a truly global player in trade, industry, education, etc.
So we got Rohan Raul. He got an interesting question again. So Rohan is asking how UEL will help us in 14 days quarantine period. If we cannot go out of home, will you bring them food?
Yeah, we will. We will make sure that you get all of the support that you need. And it depends. We're looking at two different things. So if you have your own private accommodation, how do we support you in terms of taking private accommodation? But I think the one that is probably going to be the most sensible is if that students are able to take a short-term 14-day lease of one of our on-campus accommodation, where they have their own room, their own bathroom, own private shower facilities, and then we have our student services team on campus to make sure that everybody gets all of the support they need, whether that's, if they feel unwell, we're able to help them, or whether that's bringing them food, making sure they have all the shopping that they need. So we are just firming up those plans. I still, maybe I'm optimistic, but again, going back to, the changes that you see even within a 2-week period, that I believe by the time we get to September, there will be no requirement for a 14-day quarantine period. And I think if you look at the initial scheme that was brought in by the government, that was at I think the first week in June, and within less than 3 weeks, that they'd opened up the UK to 70 different countries. So I think it's a case of we will be prepared. We will be able to offer you all of the support that you need and a plan for quarantine. But we will also, monitor the situation. And if we don't need it, then we don't need it.
That's a really positive news which you are providing us. So according to Dan, there will be no quarantine requirement, but if there is, the university will help you in that. And I got another really good question from Ravindra Kumar. What he's saying is, if we attend online classes, can we use university gadgets such as the PCs, internet, and all those stuff? Or do we have to bring our own laptops and stuff?
We would encourage you. We do have a scheme, and again, I will share more information about this scheme. But we do have a scheme to support students who have difficulties accessing IT. And I know we're building up quite a significant asset bank of IT collateral that we will use to give to students. Students will have to apply to be able to access these pieces of hardware, but it will be there. The library and IT suites will be functioning. So students, if they can come onto campus, which we fully expect they will be able to, and in fact, we have people on campus at the moment as part of our clearing operation, then they will be able to use the university's libraries and IT suites, etc. But again, we also recommend most students will have tablets, they'll have a smartphone, and the platform that we are developing for dual delivery is mobile first. So anything that you need to be able to access, you'll be able to access it from a mobile device as well. So we're not just developing something that is for a traditional laptop or a desktop computer. If you've got your smartphone, you'll be able to access these platforms as well. But again, we're here, it's like with anything, we're here to support our student community. And when we are considering all of the different, additional support mechanisms that students may need. So again, same with everything is about engagement. The more our student community engage with us, the more we can identify their individual needs in terms of support. And whether that's IT collateral, whether that's how to use, the research facilities that we have. As long as people engage, we can offer them personalized and very detailed support according to their particular needs. So just engage with us.
Right. So I'll put some of the things in Hindi so they can understand much better. So friends, अगर आप में से किसी को भी सब्जेक्ट स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन पूछना है या आपकी परसेंटेज, आपकी एलिजिबिलिटी चेक करवानी है, तो आप प्लीज़ एप्लीकेशन 01@meridian.org पे ईमेल करें. यहाँ पे आपको यूके एजुकेशन सिस्टम में कोई प्रॉब्लम लग रही है, कोरोना के बाद में, कोविड-19 के बाद में सितंबर इनटेक कैसे होगा, आपको उसके रिलेटेड कोई क्वेश्चन है, तो वो आप इस लाइव सेशन में पूछिए ताकि हम आपके वो आंसर्स दे पाएँ. सब्जेक्ट रिलेटेड क्या स्कोप है, किसमें क्या है, वो आप हमें एप्लीकेशन 01@meridian.org पे ईमेल करें उसके लिए. और अभी so now Praveen is asking, there are no flights, how can we travel to UK? And nobody has declared anything about the flights, neither India nor UK. So
we are waiting. So we expect there to be some decision made by the Indian government by, I think, mid-July as to when international flights to and from multiple destinations will be able to start to travel. The other piece of news that we heard was that Virgin are actually selling tickets from Mumbai and Delhi to London to be scheduled to start in September. We are also monitoring this situation. I think the same with many other UK universities. We've also started to look at chartering flights from India that we would be able to provide to students. We had some quotes come in which are now being assessed again by the executive board at the university. So we're monitoring the situation. We do believe that travel will begin again in India, international flights, before the course start date. But we will just monitor that situation, and we will find solutions where we need to find solutions. So for us, anything, again, the support, do we need to help the students in terms of chartering flights? If that's something we need to do, then that's something we're seriously considering.
So again, this is really good news for students. So the university is saying that by September, the flight should be started. If not, they are ready to help you with the charter plane as well. So they'll do as much as possible to get you on campus. So do not worry about that. Keep your process going and start your intake for September itself. So there is no reason you should stop your September and defer your intake to January. So there is no proper reason for that. Rather, there are more chances of getting visa on time, getting quality education in September, because there'll be less students and you will get more focus from university. For January, whoever is deferring now for January, you will have much less chances of getting admission because there'll be a lot of students. So September is opportunity for you rather than thinking of deferring for January intake. If I'm not wrong, then.
I would, and do you know, I really can't stress this enough, that the current situation is as near to kind of a pro-COVID era that we've had over the last few months than it obviously it has been since it started. But it literally, you can go to restaurants now, you can go to a cafe now, you can go to the pub now, which you haven't been able to do. You'll be able to go swimming, you'll be able to go to the fitness centers from next week. Unless there is, a genuine concern about traveling from India, if you want to come to the UK, you're coming to a very safe, biosecure campus. You're going to get the best possible education, but you're also entering into a society that has got over the very worst of COVID-19 and is returning very much to a new normality. And if that would be if you were to arrive today, if you think you won't be arriving until the end of September, perhaps the beginning of October, it's going to be a very different environment and very much further into that kind of re-emergence of being in a new normal, which is where we all need to be.
We got a question from student Abhishek. Abhishek has applied in February or March. He has paid the fees and is very good student. He has passed his precast interview and everything. So he's asking UEL will start issuing cash by end of next week. So Abhishek, it will be started by end of next week, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I will forward. I'll make sure that we send out an additional communication to support that, but we will be issuing cash from the end of next week.
Helal Hassan is also our student. He's saying charter service, very exciting.
Yeah. I would like to be on the first one that comes over. But yeah, I think, again, it's all about, we are assessing the situation. How do we support our students? And if that's by looking at charter flights, that's what we'll do.
So Sinchana Bhardwaj is asking, which intake is better, September or January? Definitely September, I would say.
I would say September, because you have the full choice of degree programs. I think once we get into January, we run less degree programs, and that could leave you in a situation where you have to wait for a full year to actually begin your degree studies. I think the other thing that you need to look at is that the studying, especially during difficult economic times, becomes a very, very viable way to spend your time. Because job opportunities may be quite limited at home. Why not invest during that period in your education? Immerse yourself in your studies. Prepare yourself as best as you can for when the economy starts to take that really positive uptick. And that's what students should be thinking about. We're going to be able to provide you, again, a very safe, secure campus to study on. You're going to get all of the support you need and the very best in terms of your education. There is no reason to actually delay your start. It's a good time. It's an exciting time to start to study in the UK. Begin your studies, get the most out of that situation, graduate when everything is on that really positive uptick, and make the most of the skills that you've developed over that 12-month or even a 3-year period with us at University of East London. And I think that's a common message for all universities. We are here to welcome students, whether they're from the UK, from Europe, or international students. We are ready to offer you the very best service and the very best in education from September.
That's true. So it's safe in September than in India, and then again the economy will take another year. So you can use that 1 year in your education, and while everything starts going positive, you can use that chance of getting a job. So September is the answer. Yeah, there's very exciting news. And then we got UV. He's asking, can we participate in sports in September?
Yeah, so all team sports are now open and have been okayed by the government. I mean, some sports are already being played. Basketball has been okayed, tennis has been okayed, but cricket begins again this week. Football, all sports again can recommence and start training and start playing in matches.
Right. So any other question, guys? You can use this time while there's some connection error with them. Oh, you back now?
Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries. So yeah, we're getting the same kind of questions. And what are the positive aspects of coming in September than Gen intake, keeping the current situation? Please answer this in terms of part-time jobs as well. So Kishan is asking about the part-time job situation if they come in September. So,
yeah, again, I mean, so large sections of the UK economy, especially around what they class as being non-essential shops, the first wave started to open probably 3 weeks ago now. All non-essential shops have now been open for the last 2 weeks. So all of those kind of part-time jobs that students traditionally look for within the hospitality entertainment sector, they are all of these businesses are open. People are starting to go back into the high street. They are going shopping. They are going to restaurants. And these are the jobs that you will probably get in that first phase while you're learning, just to help supplement your income. And again, I can't stress this enough. There is no more dynamic city in the whole of the UK that will be the first to bounce back despite any of the challenges that it faces than London. And I would assure you that if you come, you want to find part-time work, you will find part-time work from September. So it's, and if you think people have been, I know myself, I've been waiting to be able to go out and do some of the things that I would normally have done as just everyday routine that I probably wouldn't have really thought were that exciting. People want to get out. They want to go out. They want to go shopping. They want to go to a restaurant. They want to go to a meal. And people are flooding out in their thousands. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about part-time jobs. Part-time jobs in London will be abundant.
especially in London, there is no question about part-time jobs. There are jobs.
Absolutely. I mean, you will spend time in London yourself. It is a thriving city, and people are so inventive. I mean, just on my street, during the lockdown period, there were several new businesses that popped up to actually be able to offer services, sell items, be able to do that in that new environment that they found themselves in. And that just shows you the innovation that people have. And that's, it's an exciting part of business acumen, and the students that we're probably talking to, many of those will want to be future entrepreneurs. It's that entrepreneurial spirit of London, that business acumen that people have. Right, this is a challenge, but within that challenge, there is an opportunity. How do I make the most of it? And yeah, so I wouldn't worry too much about the part-time job situation.
And same with the entrepreneurial spirit you're saying. I would say if you start your own small business, any kind of business in London, there is success. Start with zero capital, start selling old stuff, do garage selling. Like this is in your student life, these things are really easy and you can make a lot of money out of it. And
the great thing is, when you're on that truly international campus, there'll be other people who have got the same entrepreneurial spirit of you, but maybe thinking just a little bit of a different way because of their culture or their background. And it's how you then work together to bring those two different types of ideas together. And do start up your own business. Do just start buying and selling items on things like eBay to generate money. There's just so many opportunities. You're only limited by what you can actually imagine, and other people are there to help you imagine in a kind of a bigger and better way, I think.
So yesterday I was mentioning about this driving license important in UK. Like, if you get driving license in UK, you have no issues with jobs, especially in London. Like, if you got driving license, you got the job. It's that kind of thing, like part-time jobs. So if you want to do part-time jobs, get your driving license done, get your NI. Again, reach on time. You will get everything.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I've never driven a car in my life, but I couldn't agree more with that statement.
So yeah, I think we're getting the same kind of questions again. So do you want to say the last message for UEL and September intake and UK education, please?
Yeah, I mean, again, for me, it's for the University of East London, we are 100% careers focused. And again, I think our careers focus is not just preparing you for jobs now, but it's for the next 10, 15 years of your professional career and personal development. And there's never been a more kind of, I think, important time to make a choice in terms of where you're going to study and the type of professional career you're going to enter into. And we are going to put you in an environment that will allow you to really develop, you know, the career skills, job skills, professional skills that are going to be in demand for industry 4.0. So yes, this is a challenging time, but as with anything, it brings forth great opportunities in a kind of a rapidly evolved way. And this is where we find ourselves in, whether you're in India or whether you're in the UK, this is the challenges and opportunities that confront you. And it's what you want to do with yourself. Embrace the opportunities, get the skills that you need during this time, go on and then be a great success. So yeah, embrace the new world, embrace the new advancements and make the most of it and learn in your own particular way with the support of the great academic team and support services at the University of East London. And do that in, again, one of the most dynamic, culturally diverse and exciting cities in the world. And that city is London. So yeah, any of you that do decide to come and join us, you will get the best of what we call dual delivering. And that is the future of education, but it's the future of education and it's now. And we really look forward to welcoming you on campus, face to face at the University of East London in September 2020.
Thank you. That was very positive, especially for the students who are in just of whether they should go in September or not. Let me help those students who cannot get the English properly. So September intake आपके लिए अभी ओपन है. फ्लाइट्स का जैसे डैन सर ने बताया, अगर फ्लाइट्स ओपन नहीं होती तो यूनिवर्सिटी की तरफ से चार्टर प्लेन अरेंज किया जाएगा. और साथ ही साथ आपके लिए सबसे अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी ये है कि अभी सारी इकोनॉमीज डाउन है. तो अगर आप इस एक साल को यूटिलाइज करते हैं और इस एक साल में अपनी एजुकेशन कंप्लीट करते हैं, पार्ट टाइम जॉब्स की कोई कमी नहीं है यूके में, तो जैसे इकोनॉमी पॉजिटिव होने लगती है आपके पास ज़्यादा अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ है जॉब्स लेने की. और साथ ही साथ अभी आपके वीज़ा चांसेस भी काफ़ी अच्छे हैं. तो इस टाइम को आप यूज़ करें और जो भी आपके क्वेश्चंस हैं, कोई भी आपकी एप्लीकेशन में अगर आपको कोई इशू है तो आप एप्लीकेशन 01@meridian.org पे भेज दें. इंस्टेंट अगर आपको कोई भी क्वेश्चन के आंसर्स चाहिए तो आप इंस्टाग्राम पे हमें मैसेज कर सकते हैं. वहाँ पे हम कोशिश करते हैं कि विद इन 1 आवर वी रिप्लाई यू. साथ ही थैंक यू सो मच डैन for such a positive session and because so many students they got the queries solved and it was really pleasure to having you on this show.
Yeah, can I just say thank you for inviting me, Amar. I really appreciate it. And again, you know, it's a genuine pleasure to work with Meridean Education and your team of counsellors. So thank you very much for the warm invitation.
Okay, thank you so much Dan, and I'll see you again then.
Yeah, thank you very much. Take care.
Guys, we are done.